Greetings and salutations, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome in to Weave the Tales presentation of Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa, a Fate of Cthulhu game with an amazing cast on an amazing channel with some excitement going on. And I'm glad to see you all here. And thank you for being here. I want to thank every single person who is in here right now live or who is watching us on YouTube when this goes up on YouTube. Thank you for being here. That is the most that you can do to support any kind of show. The best and the biggest thing you can do is to be here and support it and be active, because I know I watch all of the chat. This show is for you, and it is thanks to you that we are here. And I also want to shout out our sponsors. This season, we want to thank the following people who are sort of game companies and creators. We want to thank Christopher Gray, who did The Great American Witch, Broken Dice, who've done the Nadawan Chronicles, Black Void Games, who've done Black Void, Mighty Narwhal, who's done Mora, Smunchy Games, which has done Parslings, Arakana Media, who's done Nibiru, Evil Hat Productions, who's done The Fate of Cthulhu. Please check them out. They have made it so that this channel can have great shows with great production values, with great casts, because it's important to compensate your casts and your workers, people who are doing all of that work. And so thank you to our sponsors for doing that. We couldn't do this without them at all. And also, we're also affiliated with Grinding Coffee, which is a Black LGBT plus owned coffee business, which I think is pretty cool. And that coffee business will keep you awake, which is important because sometimes some great old ones, they come to you in your dreams. And if you don't want to have the whispers, of eldritch gods telling you that you should help them bring them into this dimension so they can eat everyone but you last, then you might want coffee. And so this coffee will keep you awake and safe from elder beings, maybe, but it will also keep you happy with the best roast, and it's directly shipped to your house because we're in the middle of the pandemic, and so you can get the coffee straight to your house. And there is an affiliate link in chat, and there's a discount code. If you want a discount code, it is penny for a tale, TALE. And that will get you a discount on that coffee, which I think is pretty awesome. There is also other ways you can support us, and that is you can retweet, you can sub, and we have donations. And so let me say, let's talk about the retweet goals. We have a retweet goal. Where is my Twitter? It is up here somewhere. For 20 retweets, something positive will happen for our players, which I don't know, maybe you're not really excited about positive things happening for our players. You want them to suffer, and that might be a thing that's exciting for you. Right now, we're currently at 14 retweets. Let me just make it 15 myself. I'll just retweet it. Boom. If we hit 20, something positive will happen, which they might need since stuff is going to happen tonight. But, at 30, then something positive will happen for me, the GM, which may be less positive for them, but that's cool. Don't worry about it. And then at 40, something positive will happen for them. For every 5 subs we get, I will give them a special fate point, a group fate point that they can use to help themselves out when things are they've got a little bit of trouble. We also have special donations just for this particular show. At $5, and I'm very excited about this, you can donate $5 and put an aspect in a scene. And last week, $5 was donated by Kitchen Bratlin, and the aspect we put on the scene was Ghosts of the Present. Since we're still in that scene, that aspect is still relevant, but once we leave this scene, that aspect will go away, but it's a pretty awesome aspect. So if you want to re-up that aspect, then $5 will do it. Also, you can get new aspects. Ghost of the Present was also, by the way, because I was so moved by Kitchen Bratlin's donation, was the title of last week's episode. I made sure that our aspect was our title. I was very excited about that. So, hey, Kitchen Bratlin, your $5 gave us the title for that episode. And it also gave Jim's character, Jack, his ex-girlfriend, showed up on the scene, and I'm sure that will not be problematic at all. in any way, I'm sure it will be fine. So that's great. For $10, when our players get consequences, luckily none of them have them right now, and those consequences, that's the sure way to death and destruction. For $10, you can remove one of their lowest consequences for them. You will know if they have consequences because skulls will pop up around their frame, because maybe consequences are bad. I love them though. And then for 15, there's a skull right there. Oh, skull. And for $15, you can remove one of their corruptions. If you will notice right now, for example, Sour Fruit Junkie's character Elaine has a little bit on her corruption bar right now. When they get 4, well, one of their positive aspects just goes away and they start becoming less human and more disturbing, and slowly they start succumbing to the corruption of the great old ones until they are lost for us, lost to us forever. So, for 15, one of the players can take down one of their bits of corruption if you want to, help them out. And there is what can we add more of Jack's X's? Maybe. It's possible. Who knows how many X's Jack has? We might find out. We might find out in the course of this game. And there is one last donation, and it can happen only once. It's a limited one-time only donation. It is the miracle. For $100, if somebody donates $100, this group will get a miracle, which I believe should be up there. There's a little elder sign right up there at the corner, and when that becomes activated, it'll be exciting like that. And that miracle will help those players when they choose to use it. If they need something really, really bad, like somebody's about ready to die, or other really worse things than death might be happening, they can one time only take that miracle and help themselves out. So those are all of the ways that you can help these players, besides retweeting, chatting to your friends about the show, being here, chatting in chat, chatting on YouTube. That's everything. So, disclaimers. This is a horror campaign, and it deals with a number of themes. The first one, I should just let you know right ahead of time, our great old one is the King in Yellow, and the King in Yellow's themes are plague and obsession and uncertainty. So there are a lot of pandemics happening, sort of new and unknown hemorrhagic fever sort of pandemics that corrupt people's bodies and turn them into things that man was not meant to know. And if you are in a very sensitive space when it comes to pandemics for reasons, then, just check in with yourself, give yourself some time in case you're in a space, and that is okay. But also there will be body horror. There will be sort of general creepiness and spookiness. There'll be uncertainty. There will be, a lot of body horror, really. So those are things to watch out for. We ourselves have a number of different safety mechanisms. We have 3 different safety mechanisms that we're using. We're using red, green, and yellow cards that are visible for you. We're using OK check-ins, which are visible for us. And we also had our lines and veils and also heads ups and like more of this please that we did before we started the game. So that's all of our security. And I thought with all of that, I would introduce our players, who are amazing and awesome. And I would love for each of you to just say who you are and who you're playing, and then we'll jump into it. We'll get all of your where we can find you at the end. So let's start with Wild.
Yes,
Who
hello.
are
I
you?
am Wild Engineer. I am playing John Robinson. They are, let's see, an average Joe with insomnia who reluctantly dreamwalks. Yeah.
Yeah. And right now, if I remember correctly, we are in a house that was gotten to us by our amazing Hayley, our social media maven. Got a house based, was a fan of hers, not at all a stalker, actually, Jack's ex. And that place is a hideout that is secure but not safe. And you are in this moment, as we started, you have this mission to go, one of your 4 missions, to go and try to, you know, blow up the tunnel, block the tunnel, stop the tunnel to this find this like 100-acre sort of underground ancient city archaeological dig site that was found. And as you all arrived, you realized that some things is wrong with the timeline. This 100-acre dig site is now 5,000 acres, much, much bigger, and what was very small, and it was only maybe a couple of archaeologists there. Now there's like an entire, there's press, there are cultists, all sorts of doomsday people, everybody's there. Elaine's older self, who was not actually there in her timeline, is now apparently there, ghost from the present. It is something different has happened, and the name Carcosa, the city that is attached to this place, was not a name that was known until like 2028, and it is known right now, and that's not right. So all of a sudden, and you're in this hideout with this woman, this ex, who is an artist, and she's planning on doing a play, The King in Yellow, and she's got photographs of drawings and like drawings and sketches for this play all over this hideout, and she's on the internet, and there are this like web pages of all this chat of people going on and on about the King in Yellow, and none of that should be happening at all. It seems a little distressing, and so I would love to ask you, Wild, how is John feeling right now, considering the situation that y'all are in? I'm just curious.
Oh, John is pretty nervous considering that there's a picture of him that only he sees himself in, and somehow at the site, and he knows he's never been there before, but even though it was in a dream, it can't be real, right?
It can't be, right? But you did have that weird dream where you were in the city, a member of the city, from there. Maybe I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure. But our John is from the past, i.e., the present. But two of our members are from the future. One of whom knows John, was John's professor of anthropology, I believe, and some well in the past. But this player is playing a character who has come from the future to try to save us. Sour Fruit Junkie, who are you? Who are you playing? And please tell me, how is your character feeling right now in this hideout?
Hi, I'm Steph, also Sour Fruit Junkie on the internet, and I am playing Elaine Chen, who is the discredited archaeologist from the future obsessed with old magic, because nothing could possibly go wrong with that. How is she feeling? Oh, she's mentally stressed, but also, I think she's determined to not let shit go so badly this time. I think there is this like overwhelmed feeling, but also this, no, I'm here for a reason, I can't back down, we have to do this. So that's where she's
And you gave it a really amazing and inspiring speech before you were all sent back into the past, and let us hope that you can save the future, at least mitigate it in some way. Now, the person who came back to the past with you, while you are quite serious and racked with guilt, the person who came back to the past with you, it was none other than Gideon Fox. No, that was his old name, the name he used in our current day. Now he's going by Jack. Other Doc, who are you? Who are you playing? And how is Jack feeling right about now?
Great questions. Great questions all. Hi, I am Jim, or Other Doc online. And I am playing a former international thief and stage magician named Jack. For a minute last week, my brain transposed Jack with John, and I ended up stealing a prompt that didn't belong to me, and that was not cool. So I apologize for that. But vigilance. I've got to keep a better eye on that. It's what I get for choosing a name with the same linguistic roots as one of the other players. But I digress. The thing that Jack right now is feeling more than anything else is just this kind of, well, in this immediate moment, I presume that things are happening. So he was experiencing for a while a sort of profound sorrow and about the situation with Aura, his ex, and he was like, "My God, you got to figure out what's done this to her, and try to stop it." And then a thing is happening that is just sort of more just kind of taking a bit aback, and he's like, "Okay, I guess we're doing this now." Trying to be very flexible.
Huh. I wonder what thing that is happening. Seems like a really excellent segue that I will pay you $5 for later to introduce our guest. We did have Hayley, who was from the present, who was our media influencer, but she started glitching out and found herself pulled to the future, where she was on a slab to be a sacrifice for a time travel ritual. Distressing. But as she got rubber banded into the future, someone glitched into the present, and that person is someone that both Jack and Elaine know as one of the first guinea pigs, volunteers, brave soldiers to be sent back to the past. So, Half-Housed Hermit, our guest, please tell us who you are and who you're playing. And at this moment, how is your character feeling? And do they have both a wrench and a fur coat? Please let me know.
Hi, I am Lydia. I am Half-Housed Hermit. I am the thing that is happening. I'm playing Renee Kane, the person who was, as Trooper mentioned, guinea pig Leica to this time travel endeavor, and it went well. It really didn't go well, but, we're dealing with that today. Sorry, spoilers, but it really didn't go well. We are going to deal with the aftermath today. She's a little bit confused. She's a little bit run down. As you can see, I don't normally look like this. I often, mostly,
The eyes.
sometimes, but she's a whole bag of madness, really, which is what you want in any Cthulhu-based game, I would say. Also, Trooper. We're going to start off with a boon for today, because I think it's your beautiful yellow suit and your beautiful hat that made it happen. We've hit our first retweet goal. Thank you so much for that, chat. Keep
Thank
going.
You so much.
Give him all the banes as well while you're at it.
Don't you want to give me a boon? It's a bane for them, but it's a boon for me. So I'm going to just note down that we have one lovely boon that will help them out, which they might need. I'm just going to note out something just before we just pop open the curtains, that you have been tasked with trying to close this tunnel to this city, because in the future, when this city, like hundreds and hundreds of strange creatures who were once people, maybe, it's unclear, but strange and yellow twisted people with like eyes on their necks and on their hands and 5 limbs and strange pustules bleeding, they all emerged out of this tunnel in this site that is not too far, about 40 miles from Machu Picchu, and they sort of just strewn forth, and they were the things that helped South America fall, and then North America, and then in the end Canada was like one of the last places to survive, really. And so their goal is to try to stop up the hole to this place, do something to sort of mess up this place so that in the future, this sort of army of whatever may not come forward. So that's what they're hoping to do. But I'll just note that they do not have any demolitions or weapons or anything like that. So I don't know how they're going to go about stopping that from happening at all. But that's not their biggest concern as we raise up the curtain. Their biggest concern is that their friend glitched and was sort of ripped out of time in a way that did not harm her, thanks to your boon, by the way. Y'all's chat's retweet boon made it so that there was no damage to our social media maven, as she was ripped out of time. And before us in this safe house, this hideout, is a soldier. And could you describe what your soldier looks like?
Renee is looking frantically around her. She is looking at Jack intently, more so than others, as she's imploring him, did you get the wrenches? Did you get the fur coats? We need this. This is... And then she looks past him, because she sees his window. This is not Canada. Oh, fuck. Where is it this time? Where is it this time? Is it Italy? What is this? Brazil? Don't tell
Peru.
me it's Australia again. I hate...
It's
That's new.
Renee. It's Peru.
That's new. It's not supposed to be. Okay, scratch the fur coats, but we still need the collider.
Collider? Like, as in, are we super collider? Is that what we're talking about here? Like a atom smashing thing?
You don't know... When did we last meet?
Just
Jack, what timeline
Yeah.
is it? What time is it? What year? What date? Details. We don't have time.
Okay. Elaine and I just got here. About a couple days ago. First jump. This is our first jump.
Oh, fuck.
We've not jumped before
No.
this. So last we saw you, you went out with the first group.
7 years of my
Sounds
life.
like that didn't go
7
too well.
years.
Is everything okay?
I thought I was on the right timeline this time. I thought I was going to be okay. I thought this was going to be the one. I'm fine. I'm fine. Just starting again. Always again. Starting.
The rituals are working?
Again.
We thought that you couldn't come back. We tried to contact you. We tried to send things back. We couldn't find a way to get back to you. But the rituals you're here.
They work sometimes. They don't work other times. They try sometimes. They try too hard sometimes. They... What were you sent back here to do?
We have 4 locations of interest, this being here in the source of Carcosa, and right now we are trying to address the city that is Carcosa, but it's not right this time. There's a lot that is not making sense. I'm here, Renee. The old me is here. I was never here before.
No, you weren't. You weren't supposed to be.
Not lining up.
And it's
Aura's in the
even
corner
bigger
taking
than what-
notes.
who is the
The
Jack's
ex Aura, she's just in the
Oh,
corner taking notes. just so you know what she's up to.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. But actually, and I'm kind of sort of half aware, sort of aware of that, and also I'm just sort of looking back to it. Renee, there are things here that are different from the way that we expected them to be when we arrived. Do you know why that's happening? By any chance?
No. I have been trying to find out for a while now. I have a plan. I have a mission. I have a plan. Plans. They don't always work.
Okay.
When
Who are
was
you?
When was the last timeline you were in?
Who is he? She points at John. Who are you?
Do you remember
You look familiar.
when I talked about John?
Why do so many people know who I am? I mean, Nora knows me. You know me, apparently.
Elaine doesn't make eye contact with you, John. Just like very, very distant.
Incubators, welcome in. Welcome in.
This is feeling like the most realistic dream I've ever been in. And I don't know if it's a dream or not. And I don't like it right now.
You get it. You get it. Yeah, that's what it feels like at first.
At first.
You
So-
recognize, Renee, aura, or maybe not necessarily aura, but the sketches all around this hideout, this safe space. The aura that you remember from the present, the future, your future, looked like her but different. Older, of course, gaunter. The aura that you remember looked thinner. Her cheeks were sunken in the present. Yes, you've seen pictures of her. You remember her, and I sent you a private message.
And who is she?
Hey,
She looks like
yeah. This is, I just sort of will gesture as I for some reason have hidden the last name in my notes somewhere that doesn't appear there. This is Aura Colazzo, and she's been doing a lot of research, looks like.
She smiles. Where's my star?
Your star?
Hayley.
Yeah,
She's going to be a star.
Yeah, what the hell did happen to Hayley? Was standing right where you are just a moment ago. What happened to her?
And Renee will launch herself at Aura and start to strangle her, laughing maniacally.
Please make please, if you do not mind, we're going to go into a conflict. I would like you to make a fight roll. If you do not mind.
Fight roll.
Yes, please.
I do not mind at all.
Oh, that's great. I will defend with Aura, who you may not know is not really a combatant, but that's cool. I'm sure it will be fine for her. She will defend using her athletics. That's what you used to defend with. And her, her defenses, she's like got a 1 in athletics. Let's see how that goes for her. Let's see if that goes well. Ooh, that's a -1 for poor. So in this game, what you can do is you take the difference, which is 6, and the person would have to soak all of that unless they can do something like use a fate point, something like that to help them out. And she will use one of her fate points, which is one of my fate points. I'm going to use one of those out there, bringing me from 4 to 3, to give herself a +2 to her terrible athletics roll, bringing it up to a 1. And she has to have an aspect that allows you to do that. And her aspect is that she must bring the play to stage. And she, nothing can stop her until she brings that play to stage. I'm sure it's fine though. There's no problem with that, but that still leaves her with a difference of 3, which she's going to soak up in terms of she has some stress and she's going to soak up all of her stress. So she, you jump on her and you start strangling her, and she starts choking. So we do popcorn initiative, which means you get to choose who gets to go next among the people in this room. Who would you like to go next?
The closest to me and the closest to Aura is Jack, both in relationship and both in proximity. So I think that works best, and he gets the first chance to do something about whatever this is.
Yeah. So, thing 1 is going to be to try to
red-faced and choking as she can't breathe.
Yeah. So I know that Renee is trained in combat, so I'm not going to be so foolish as to try to come up from behind and pull her off, Aura. So I'm going to try to get in between them, which is perhaps even more foolish, and to try to just sort of stop. Wait a minute, no, it's.
I think that would be athletics. And I feel like you're trying to create an advantage, which is that you are in the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will endeavor to do that. Okay. So I just roll athletics?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
All right. I'm going to press this button that says athletics on it and see what happens.
Do it.
And
You want a
rating
2?
is not plus or minus anything.
You want to beat a 2.
I have a 3.
All right. You create an advantage called In the Way with 1 free invoke, which you can use or you can allow Aura to use to help her defend against all of this, or you can sort of use it to take it upon you if things start going badly. Who would you like to pass it off to?
I think I'm going to toss things to Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of look over and like.
Okay, I'm going to. Would I be able to grapple Renee in a way just to distract her from like continuing to harm Aura?
Yes,
Would
you
I just
could.
roll athletics for that?
Yep, and that would be creating an advantage grappled. That if you are successful, you put the grappled condition on her.
Mm-hmm.
But she would get to defend with her athletics.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I would probably lose in that one. Let's see.
But you know, there are some things out there that you can use. You can spend fate points on. You can invoke. I mean, Jack's in the way. It might make it harder for her to defend herself.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, I will try to grapple her down and try to just be like, hey, no, we need to stop this. This can't, like, I get there are feelings. You need to explain your feelings. I'm gonna roll athletics. We'll see what happens. No.
Fair.
Fair.
If you would,
Okay.
Renee, roll your athletics.
I will not. I will punch her in the face if necessary and keep going.
I know.
Sorry.
No, I mean, it's important. Like, you have to save the future, you know?
I'm a soldier.
Okay.
And
So-
I'm a distracted soldier.
So, here's my question. Would you like to spend a fate point to try to either re-roll or up that roll? It's currently 2 to -1. As she's coming in to try to pull you off.
I will try. I will spend a fate point to do that.
So you rolled. Would you like a re-roll, or would you like to give yourself a +2? +2, you'd still lose that roll.
Oh,
you can spend more than one fate
also,
point, but you need more than one aspect.
I did make a mistake with the
Please.
athletics because it's the voices that I could the voices stunt. I think that I
Yes.
could invoke for this.
Actually, that's just an automatic
seeing that
+2.
coming. Yeah,
Indeed.
that
Which
would still
puts
not
you
be enough.
at. Yes, you would need another fate point.
Yeah, I'll spend it. This is a mission, and I'm on it.
And
I can
what's
get a plus, you said, or
You can get a +2, which would get you 1 above. And so, what is the aspect that you invoke? Why are you able to overcome this?
so as Elaine comes closer, you see her twitching, and she's been twitchy ever since the get-go. But in this case, the twitch turns into a movement incredibly quick, incredibly knowing that something is coming as you try and grasp her, and she rolls out of the way, taking Aura half with her and keeps going.
Would you
I'm not
like to
entirely
spend
sure
a
how that
fate point,
happens.
Elaine, to try to overcome this? And also, Lydia, if you would get rid of one of your 3 fate points, I would appreciate it very much. Do you have an aspect that you can invoke to overcome that roll? Tell me, Sour Fruit Junkie, do you have it? Do you have an aspect? Would you like to spend a fate point?
Let's see. I do have the aspect of being determined, but I'm also.
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm.
There's not enough. No, do I?
How determined are you
trying to think, like-
to
I know,
grapple
because
this woman?
Haley just like jumped away, and then Renee just
Yes.
came back, and there's so many
Yes.
questions, and I need to know them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will use a fate point. I will use. a
That
fate
brings
point.
it to 3 for Renee and 4 for Elaine. Would you like to spend more fate points as you two struggle with each other? You two are gripped. You are trying so hard to grapple her at this moment, right? To try to make it so that she cannot continue to strangle this woman. And she is hearing voices saying, she's moving to your left. She's moving to your left. She's going to grab your hand now. She's going to grab your hand in 2 seconds. Now. Move to the right. Would you like to spend more fate points?
I'm only here for one episode, so fuck yeah.
Give me a new aspect that you can use. What aspect did you use for the last fate point?
The last one was the voices that warned her.
No. That was your bonus. I imagine maybe your lost soldier. Being a soldier would have...
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need a different one.
I need a
that
different
will
one.
justify a little bit more effort here.
Considering that my whole mission is to spare others from going through the same bullshit that I've been going through, considering that mission is more than just, a task, it's become my life.
Yeah.
Renee screams, you don't know, it needs to happen, which, if you allow it, gives her just a little bit of a moment to of like, wait, what's happening? This needs to happen. The despair in her voice is real.
And with that, she spends a little bit more effort, bringing herself up to a 5 versus your 4, and you can feel that your grip on her is starting to loosen. You can't hold on to her. How important is it for you to grapple her? You have
I think
2
the
fate points
despair
left.
in her voice kind of gets through Elaine. At that point, I don't think she fights because that despair just hits her so hard.
And you can't pull her off this woman. You can't. You tried, but she has her hands in a vice grip around Aura, this young woman who seems to have done nothing wrong. Who do you toss it to? Sourfruit Junkie, who's next?
Would I be able to toss it back, or does it have to
It's
go for
either
it,
to
go to
Wild or to her.
Oh. I mean, I'll consult. Wild, is there anything you'd want to be able to do in this moment? Is it something that you'd want to be involved in? If not, I will toss it back to Renee to kind of...
No, it has to go to either Aura or Wild
Aura?
first,
Oh,
because Renee's
Aura or
taking her turn.
Wild. Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Oh. Oh no.
Mhm.
I will pass it to Wild. Perhaps you can create some sort of aspect or insight into this. Let's play fate.
And in this room, Hayley is gone, ripped out of reality, and in her place, a soldier with bloodshot red eyes that are red in an unnatural way, with a strange sort of sense about her. And as you see her with her hands around the neck of this ex of Jax, this artist who's just here, you see the edges of Renee start to glitch like a computer program, maybe like little artifacts just starting to sort of glitch slightly as something is wrong. Maybe you're asleep. I don't know. What would you like to do?
Yeah, John is not a fighter, so they definitely don't want to join in. He's just in shock, staring at the fight going on, staring at the picture, looking at everyone, and the only thing he can think to say, he just yells out, I've been to Carcosa before, at least in my dreams. And I think the city knows who I am.
That feels to me like a provoke attack.
right.
trying to get through. Yes, that feels like a provoke attack. Let's see. That's a 3. I would like you, Renee, to roll your will as a defense.
I will do so. Nope.
Before we go any further, I would like to ask if you would like to spend any fate points. You have 1, or if you have any relevant stunts that might help you with your defense right now, your will defense. But I feel like Renee may not be doing so well in terms of her will.
No. The word Carcosa gets to her. And she will whip
Wait,
around.
One moment. John, you know this is effective, but you all have a number of boosts that you can use to increase the effectiveness of this. You can, for example, John, you have insight into Carcosa, which has 2 free boosts, which is up to a +4. You could make that a much, much more impactful plea if you wanted. If you use those.
I don't think I'm going to use them. This is just...
I will note, if you do, full transparency, Renee has 3 stress, and you've just beat her by 3, which will take up all her stress, but if you did 2 more, that would give her a consequence, which could be that she may want to not attack this woman for now and give her a bit of a lasting consequence. Okay. Or that she might be inclined to listen to you. It brings her closer to being taken out if bad things happen, but it will help you in this situation. Would you like to? And it's free. I'm just asking.
Sure, if a consequence might probably end the fight, then let's do that.
We will take one of your consequences away. How do you use the insight that you had from Carcosa to push her over the edge into stopping this attack? What do you say?
The city itself is alive. It's not just a city. And kind of see John just crouched, kind of almost in a fetal position, because they don't like to remember their dreams, especially ones like these.
If you would, Renee, please take all of your stress and take one consequence. And the consequence would be, you tell me, what consequence would you take in this moment? Do you think it would be that you are trusting of John? Do you think it would be that you're rethinking your mission? What do you think that consequence would be? That you are doubtful of yourself? Self-doubt? Or what do you think the consequence would be for you?
I think she's curious right now. She's never been to Carcosa. She's never seen it as such. She's always been chasing after it through every timeline and never even gotten really close. Every time I think I'm there, it throws me away into the next time, the next past. How could you have seen it? Who are you that you've been there? And she zones in on John, who is so very, very powerful to her at this point, that she sits up, her fingers loosening around Aura, stands up and slowly walks to John, kneels down next to him, and just stares at him.
Or in the back.
Yeah, very quickly I
Sort of
turned
like,
around and sort of pulled her away from Renee. I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
and she watches with sort of fear as Renee is next to John. And I will note that I think what this is from you, Renee, is a concession. Whenever you're in a conflict, you can always concede to say, I step out of this conflict. And if you do concede, then you get a fate point plus 1 fate point for any consequence you took. And so you get 2 fate points for conceding that conflict, which brings you back up to 3. And it's this sort of tense moment where Aura is in the corner, sort of huddled up against Jack, coughing with her neck, and Renee is so close to John, this person with some kind of knowledge. Continue on.
Guys, I don't know. I'm just supposed to be some normal person. Things like this aren't supposed to happen to me, but I reach into my pocket and I start flipping through my dream book, and I show Renee that it's like, see, it's all about this, but it was a dream, and I can't tell if this is a dream or not, but something's missing. I'm pointing to the blank spot where there should be a symbol. There's something missing from here. I don't know if it was there before, but I know it's supposed to be there and has something to do with here, and the city knows me, and I don't know why it knows me, but I know the city too, and I don't like what it's saying or what I'm saying, and I don't know who's saying anything anymore.
And as you point to this blank spot on your journal, this blank spot in the middle of this page that is full of spires and city streets and lamps, the spot that you point to, that empty spot, slowly on the page itself, a symbol starts to emerge onto the page, as if you do this, John. Your thinking about this symbol causes it to bleed onto the page of your journal. And it is in a bright yellow ink, color of pen that you don't have anymore, and I've put it on your Roll20, my dearest players, for you. And that symbol it looks like a yellow question mark, and at the center of the question mark, where the dot would be, it's like a flower, and then off of that question mark are 2 lines. It looks almost like some kind of 3-limbed strange symbol, and it makes you shudder. Could you please take for me, John, 1 mental stress, as you manifest this symbol into the world and onto this book?
Like, oh my god. Did you see that? That wasn't there before. It wasn't there. Now it's there.
Do I see this happening? I mean, I'm assuming I would have. Oh, you go first.
Well, I would say that you see it happening, but I mean, you do notice it, but it's not really the only thing or the most important thing that you notice. The other thing that you notice is that you see it, right? But you're stepping back a little bit from them, and you notice that that symbol now is actually on all of the sketches around this hideout. All of those sketches for the play, now that same symbol, that same yellow sign that was not there before, as it manifested in that journal, is now on all of Aura's sketches. Her sketches for the costumes for this play, for the sets for this play, for the characters for this play. Now that sign, that yellow sign, is on every single one of those sketches.
Are you with her? Are you sent by him?
I wasn't sent by anybody. I just came because Elaine said we needed to stop whatever's happening. It wasn't supposed to be open, but it is, and I don't know. It's like I can't wake up right now. I want to wake up so bad.
Hat symbol, that fucking play. And she stands up, starts ripping off various sketches, starts ripping off various pages of manuscripts that she sees and scatters them throughout the room in a frantic fit. That is what brought him here in the first place.
And Aura starts to cry because her work is being destroyed by this really scary person. Like this really, really scary person who just seems very dangerous. And she grabs onto Jack as she, with a bit of a tremble, as this person who came out of nowhere starts destroying this place.
I'm gonna kind of try to see if I can move her like a little bit out of the room so that she doesn't have to see this happening, and so that I can get a chance to try to talk to her and calm her down a little bit and possibly find out what's happening.
Lydia, could you just go for a moment to our timeline screen so that the audience may see this sign in case they've never seen it? So they may see what it is that is emerging all over these sketches. I just want them to know. This sign in yellow, everywhere, on every scrap of paper in this place, and it was not there before, and bright in John's dream journal. Thank you, Lydia. What do you two, John and Elaine, do as Renee starts ripping apart this place
In
a display of violence that
do the signs also appear on the computers and the chats that are going through as well?
Do you just check?
I mean,
The
yeah,
answer
I'm
is
gonna look
yes.
at it. I'm just like, yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. They weren't there before. They were not there before, but they are now. And now it's interesting, if you look at this computer, the chat, she's on this chat. It seems to be some kind of private Discord, perhaps, or a private chat space. And they're talking in the symbols. And now everyone has these little emojis, these little yellow sign emojis that they're putting in there. And it is not as if this yellow sign is new to them. It seems as if they've always talked about it. It's always been there for them. If you go back and you scroll back in the timeline, this symbol has been being used for hours and days and months, but you know it hadn't been. It hadn't been there before, but it's there now. It's there now. and
Is she like?
they
Are
ask
there
themselves,
servers in this room? Oh, sorry.
they ask themselves, they ask, have you seen the yellow sign? And that's like this thing they say to each other. The yellow sign did exist in the future, but it didn't show up until the very, very end. At the very end, the sign showed up, but before then, there was no record of it. But it's here now. It was a sign of the coming of the king in yellow. Right before the king emerged, the sign happened. It's probably not good that it's here now.
Elaine will turn to John, and she'll kneel down in front of him and just. I didn't tell you everything. I wasn't forthcoming because I was very afraid. I don't want this to happen. I don't want him to win again. But that sign is the sign of the king in yellow. The sign comes before everything goes to shit, before everybody begins to die and we lose everything with no hope, no chance of fighting. That was why I didn't want to tell you. I also watched you die in the future, and it was because I kept making you dream and making you tell me things and kept pushing you, and I'm so sorry. And I know it's not you, and I know it's not the same, but that's also the reason why I just couldn't tell you.
Like, why are you saying these things? Why can't I just wake up? I don't want to see this anymore.
Because they won't let
You're
us
not
wake up.
dreaming, John. None of us are.
But this
It
can't
would be easier
real.
if we were. They sent their best and brightest after me.
Or the last chance. Like, Elaine turns a bit towards Renee. I don't know what's going. I don't know really what to do, but I just know that we're the last chance.
And what are your orders? 'Cause mine was to kill that bitch you rescued, among other things.
Was that actually the Trooper? Was that the actual order that we remember giving?
Nope.
Oh, got it.
That
Great.
you have
I don't.
four.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you have 4 crisis points, and killing her is not one of them. Whatever happened, her timeline is clearly different from your timeline. For all you know, for all you can imagine, perhaps that first team did do some things that changed the future, and so therefore, for all you know, the missions that they had are not the same as the ones that you have. They may have
And I
done
think-
things to change things already.
I think Elaine just like kind of fully turns around to you. That was not the order that I gave you or we gave you. When was that? When did you receive that order?
Renee, you got it from her.
It's very sweet that you're trying to be all goody two-shoes, but you made it very clear that you told me to. You told us. She is patient 0. She is the one it starts with. She has to go.
And let's
eliminate. I
take
think
that
was the
moment to
word
go
you
into the
used.
other room. Let's go into the other room for a moment.
Oh.
And there is Jack, right in the other room with Aura, who is crying a little bit. Like she's not in in sobs, but she's got sort of tears as she has been really freaked out by some really kind of creepy person just physically assaulting her. Like somebody with these creepy eyes that are bloodshot and strange, that are not normal looking eyes. 5 more for a Bane, everybody. And like this is, and like very strange stories, and she's freaking out, and she is
Yeah.
clearly a bit bruised, a bit winded.
Yeah.
And then she looks at you
And
as if for the first time. Gideon, why do you look so old?
Okay, first off, you can stop calling me Gideon. We don't have to do that anymore. It's okay. I know what that did to you, and I'm sorry.
Who is she?
That's going to be a little harder to explain, but the important thing is that what's happening now is not supposed to be happening. I need to know who did this to you. Who put you on this path, gave you all of this stuff about Carcosa?
Jack, you did. Don't you remember?
Oh, dear God.
You took a book from a
No.
museum. It was a play. There was a museum, and you did some kind of trick to steal it away, and then you gave it to me for safekeeping. You said that you could only trust me with it, and you were right. It was Jack. The play was amazing.
Okay. I don't think I fully see what's happening here, but I think maybe I'm beginning to. This is also going to be a little hard to explain, but that wasn't me.
Jack, come on.
He was a lot like me. He probably he shared a lot of details with me, but he's not me.
I mean,
Because he's a version of me that's not supposed to have happened. None
the
of this
tattoos were
is
strange.
supposed to have happened.
You
tattoos?
don't remember
Which
tattoos.
ones? Yeah.
You don't remember those. I mean, I thought it was something new, the tattoos.
Oh, what do you have a tattoo?
No, yours. Your tattoos on the ones you put on your face. Is that makeup that you're covering it up with?
Nope. And I was just immediately like,
What's going
that
on?
wasn't me. I don't know entirely what it is because there's moving parts to this that I don't know yet. But the thing is, that asshole put you in danger.
No.
More danger than I think you probably would ever be in under any normal circumstances.
No.
I'm sorry for that.
You saved me. You gave me purpose. Then you left me.
Okay, well, that
But you
much
gave me the book. You gave me the book. And I know that if I can make this play here in the city of Carcosa with Hayley, or it could be anywhere really, but this would be perfect, then you'll come back to me?
Do you still have the book?
No. I have copies, but you said you had to put it back in the museum for when the others came? You said it was
Of
a
course
trap?
I did. Yeah.
You said you were going to trap someone. I don't know what that means, but you took it out, you made copies, you gave me a copy, and then you went away to put it back in the museum to catch them. Who are coming?
I see.
I don't
Okay.
know what that means.
Okay. I have a guess, but it's kind of terrifying. Okay.
Who is she?
Okay. She's trying to fix things. The things that are happening now are going to cause, well, to be frank, it's going to cause the world to be destroyed. The book doesn't do what we thought it does.
No. The book is beautiful.
Aura,
Give me a rapport.
you know how... Okay.
Give me a rapport.
I shall perform rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
She is currently not buying it, unless you want to do
Okay.
something about that.
Can we
Hmm.
invoke ghosts of the present in this incident?
Yeah, I think.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I
That is
almost.
that is an aspect that
Yeah.
Kitchen Bratlin donated
Yeah.
for $5, which is on the
Yeah.
table.
That'd be
You have
an
to spend a fate point
excellent.
for it, though.
Yeah, this would be an excellent time to use that. So yeah, let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and spend a fate point.
Mm-hmm. Thank you,
Do I
Kitchen
need to
Bratlin.
drag it?
Actually, it's you just drag your fate point onto the mat and then delete it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tell me how the ghost of the presence will help you convince her of this.
So it's like going back and remembering. And in some ways, I think it might be like remembering a dream because he's remembering what was to him another lifetime. Something that he's trying to pull forth, something he can latch onto that would come from before all this madness started.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
Something that he would have done, maybe even that predates or is or was around at the start of Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something that was meaningful to the two of them
Mm-hmm.
in a kind of a sort of a deep symbolic way.
Perhaps it
And
was a show that you saw together.
Yeah. Or something and it was like right afterwards when we came out, I was like, oh, I can do that trick 10 times better. And I'm going to, and this is a way to kind of prove that, no, this really is me. And I really do care about you in this circumstance. This is how you will always know me. Something like that. And basically, I'm doing it now, even as I'm doing it in my memory, where I will reach behind her head for just a second, and I say, Aura, I've still got your card.
Oh. But if you were you, then who was the you that I spoke to? Who was the Hayley that I spoke to?
That's what we're trying to figure out. They're echoes, ghosts. They're agents, in a way, of the thing the horrible thing that we're trying to stop from coming to pass. But I think with your help, we can.
But I already have the actors inside the site, inside Carcosa. They're camping there now.
Okay.
We're going to do a run through. I was supposed to go there tonight to sneak in. Surely it can't be bad, the play.
Well, let's just say it's doesn't get quite the reviews we thought it would. But you can get in.
I can sneak in. I know a way.
We're going to do a slight script change. Try to make things better.
Okay.
We're going to fix this. It'll be all right.
Okay.
Everything's going to be all right. And he says he reached down and gingerly will take her hand.
You won't let her hurt me as she takes your hand.
No, never.
So you didn't leave me then?
There was that version of me didn't. That version of me did, and the version of me that you're seeing now shouldn't have.
But she stands up with taking your hand. Well, you're not wearing frosted tips anymore. Your outfit's a lot less garish.
Yeah, thank goodness.
You seem nicer.
I've been working on that a long time.
Let's go back out there and see what they're doing.
Okay. All right. You're going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
And you two walk out, and as you walk out emerging into this room that is now a wreck, Elaine, John, Renee, you're there as you hear the crackle of the radio. Welcome in, Raiders, Unmade Gaming, welcome in. You hear the crackle of the radio as you hear the news in Spanish. Do any of you speak Spanish? John, if I remember correctly, you've been to Peru before. Is that correct?
No, I researched it online.
Ah. Does anyone here speak Spanish?
We'll say Elaine does if she's done some archaeology and she's focusing here now.
Mm-hmm. So the radio crackles, and it's a newscaster sort of speaking about how there have been shots fired at the amazing dig. There have been pushes by large groups of people trying to get in, some sort of religious cult perhaps, trying to get in to this site that they think is somehow holy. And the army has opened fire on some of these unarmed zealots. And it's a sort of an interview with the head of this of the military, the person who's in charge of security there for the moment, and it's a general Isaac Mehta, who's trying to describe what's going on. There's protests. It seemed to be like a big deal. He's sort of noting that there was nothing they could do, but they're going to double down security. And that is sort of the news of the day. And while you sort of note this as the sun begins to set, and you know there are people inside that place waiting to start a play, we will take our break. We will take our break. I will let you know, y'all, the boon that you got for the 20 retweets was that Aura knows a way in. Aura knows a way in was the boon that you got. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. Hey.
One day I'll get to strangle someone.
You did get to strangle her. You were very like, you were doing very well. It's just that somebody decided, which is very awesome about fate, to convince you to stand down in a non-combat way, because all these things are all together. You can use whatever you like. We're going to take a quick break, and I want you all to stretch your legs, hydrate yourself, think about whether or not a different version of you from another timeline is here, and whether or not they've paid your bills or not. I hope they have. That would be convenient. Otherwise, we will be back in 5-10 minutes. Take care of yourself. And when we get back, we will see how they're going to deal with an imminent play in a place of power. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be great. Ooh, retweet if you like, and give us some love. We'll see you in 5, 10.
These are the tales we weave. Tales of magic. Tales of mystery. Tales exploring the beyond. And while we continue to grow, even more adventures await. In the depths of the unknown. Will you join us in the telling?
welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second half for Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa, as sponsored, as brought to you by Weave the Tale. So excited. We had a very nice, pleasant first half where all the characters sat and had tea and just chatted about like good old times, and things were nice. There might have been some strangling involved, but it's fine. We are one tweet away from giving me, the GM, a boon, which technically means a bane for the players, but who's counting? I am. Anyway, if you wanted to retweet our going live tweet, that would be awesome. This is where we're at. Oh, I've got my hat. By the way, I just want you to know I have a second hat, a special hat, which is just for when really bad things happen, and it's just over there. You can't see it now, but later, you can also support us by subbing. For every 5 subs, they'll get a very special fate point that they can use to help them out in a situation. Also, for $5, you can donate $5 to put an aspect on the scene. And aspects are one of our current aspect, which will probably go away pretty soon, is Ghosts of the Present. And it will last for 1 scene, which who knows how long that will be. It is also something like, it could be anything like dark fog, or a box of dynamite, or strange voices. Who knows what that aspect might be? It could be something very exciting. And so you get to sort of change the environment that they're in if you would like. And that's for 5. For 10, you can have one of the players can remove one of their consequences. Currently, oh, I'm so sorry. Would you mind, Lydia, would you put a skull on Renee? Because Renee has a consequence right now. Just one would be lovely. So Renee currently has a consequence in which she is, let's say, obsessed with John. That feels like a pretty good consequence. So I think she wrote down curious, but I feel like obsessed is a little bit more intense, and I love it. So a little obsessed with John right now, which, hey, that will not at all be bad, I am sure. And $10 can help clear one of those consequences. They only have 3 total. And if they have no more consequences left and they have to take another one, well, it's not good. It's not good. They could die. They could, who knows what. It sort of depends on how they're taken out. And for $15, you can remove 1 corruption from one of our players. Currently, Elaine Chen, our professor, has a corruption. If they hit 4 corruptions, then, well, one of their 5 aspects turns corrupted. And corrupted aspects, well, we got to see one of Elaine has 1 corrupted aspect. We got to see it. She has an eye on her palm, not a tattoo of an eye, but an actual eye. She usually covers it up, but when she really, like, I'm just saying it. There's like, because here's the thing. If you look into the abyss looks back at you, and it's never great. And if they have no more aspects to corrupt, then they are lost to us. And then our last one, of course, is up there. A $100 one-time only special miracle that can be given that may aid our characters in a really big way when they need it. And so that is where we're at. I want to thank our sponsors, and also thank you for being here. And let's jump back into it. We are in our hideout, which is secure but not safe. We have a computer, we have a wreck of a place, and we have our characters with a note with the knowledge that the lost city of Carcosa, or at least 5,000 acres of it, the greatest archaeological find of the millennium, is there waiting for them. And inside, some members of Aura's cast or prospective cast are going to be doing a run through, like they're going to be doing a rehearsal, have snuck in to do a rehearsal of this play that they're working on. And our team has been sent to blow up the entrance to this site so that whatever is on the inside, which 10 years from now is bad, veritable army of bad things, whatever's on the inside cannot get to the outside to help save the future. But there's also some military chaos as a cult of zealots are trying to get in to do something. And in the original timeline, there was like 4 scientists and like, I don't know, a pack mule hanging out there, but now there seems to be an entire circus. And they have to decide what they want to do. And so, with that, let us open up the curtain. What all will you do?
I think we're still in the house, right?
Yeah, you have to tell me what you want to do.
Not safe.
Secure, but not safe.
Secure, but not safe. I think.
And Aura and Jack have just
For me-
returned from the other room.
They have.
I think right now John is just kind of. It's all a little too much for him, and he's just gonna rest his eyes a bit, and just.
Hey, Jack. I have a
Yeah.
question for you. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jack, Aura, you're there. You're all there, friendly. Just for a moment, John, I have a question for you. It's just a really quick, small question, not a big deal at all. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't be nervous about this question I'm going to ask you. I'd like to ask, would you like a fate point? Because you have this trouble aspect, which is, dreams lie.
Yeah.
I would love to give you a dream that might give you some insight into things, but those things will be lies and mislead you in ways. Would you like to be misled to cause trouble to your friends and family? Right about now, if you do, I'll give you a fate point.
I could always use more fate, honestly.
Oh, well, see, this is what I like. I like players who, when I say to them, would you like a fate point for bad things to happen to you? They say, yeah, yes, I would. I'm just gonna give you a fate point because I feel like you deserve that. Here you go. As you blink your eyes shut, just for a moment, it's like it's just because I just want to ask you, how long has it been since you last slept?
John doesn't even remember at this point.
Oh,
Everything just blends
yeah.
up too much.
Well, I mean, you're not sleeping now, of course. You just blink your eyes for a moment, and when you sort of open your eyes up again, you are standing in front of the entrance to the archaeological site. And you can hear all of this chaos behind you. But in front of you, it's quiet. And it's dark. There are little sort of like lamps, archaeological lamps in this tunnel that go forward. So you can kind of see dimly in the future. And I say in the future, I mean forward. Or maybe it is the future. It's unclear. But you see Elaine really far in the distant, and she is looking at you and she's gesturing for you to come follow her. Gesturing for you to come follow her. Do you?
No, I mean, it's Elaine. She would
Of
know what to
course.
do in this situation.
She would know what to do. And you follow her, walking down the steps. Forward, and she's always just at the edge of your vision. And as you're following her, you come upon a break. You can go left or you can go right. Left or right. And Elaine, she looks at you and she smiles. And she says, "What do you say, Elaine? Do you tell him to take the left or the right?"
Left.
And exactly how do you say it?
She doesn't say anything, I think, in the stream. Just kind of just points.
Do you take the left?
Hey, of course.
And you follow Elaine's instructions because Elaine would never lie to you. You trust her. And you follow down the left. And you see a yellow sign. It's a gate. It's a gate made of iron with this yellow sign on it. And maybe you feel nervous about it. But Elaine is right by your side. All of a sudden, you don't know how she got there. She was far back the last time you saw her. And Elaine, do you encourage him to open that gate?
I'm answering as Elaine, or like the Elaine in the dream?
The Elaine in the dream.
Elaine in the dream. Ooh, I mean, you accepted this fate point, so like she tells you, you hear her voice like you wanted to know what happens.
Do you go in?
Just looking at Elena like, shit. Am I supposed to know? And I'm not getting a response. He just looks around and steps forward.
And when you step through the gate, you walk into a city that is beautiful and alive and full of people. And the most beautiful people you've ever seen in your entire life. They are tall, 8 feet tall. They look something like the kind of figures you'd see in a fashion drawing. You know how fashion drawings have those sort of really large and elongated proportions? They look like that. And they're all different sort of shapes. They're wide and they're tall and they're thin. And they're all different colors: black, brown, blue, green, yellow. That's fine. And all of these different hues. And they're all smiling at you. And there's music that you don't quite understand, and there's food that you've never seen, and the angles are strange. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Elaine said it was fine, and they're happy to see you. And there's a table with a feast. You don't know why there's a banquet table in the middle of this plaza, but maybe that's what they do here in the space Carcosa. And there's a seat that's empty. The entire table is full of people and they're smiling. And there's an empty seat at the head of the table for you. You know, John, out there, you are average, forgettable. Nobody remembers you. I mean, you'd be surprised that Professor Chen remembered you. I mean, nobody does think about you, remember you. You're so average, so forgettable. But in this city, they smile at you and they see you and they're happy to see you. And there's a place at this table for you. You could come sit here at this table and no one would forget you. Everyone would see you and you would be beautiful. Do you sit at the table?
Well, as nice as it sounds, John doesn't like the thought of all the attention that it could bring. But John is just so hungry. And the food is right there.
It smells so good.
It's a
Elaine,
feast.
Elaine, you're all in this room together, trying to sort of deal with what happened, the aftermath of this. Could I get an awareness from you? Difficulty 3. And Flounder, thank you for that boon for me.
Am I
Any
rolling?
kind of-
Is it notice?
Yes, please notice.
Or
Pardon me. I called
notice,
awareness,
yeah.
but it's notice.
It's okay. I was like, I got confused. Whoop.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's a
good.
tie. It's a tie. Would you like a partial success, or would you like a success at a minor cost?
Ooh, can we take minor costs right now?
Sure you can.
Sure, you can always can. Says the king in yellow.
It's only minor. It's just a minor cost.
It's so small. Don't worry about it. Oh, I think I will take a partial success to make this even more messy.
Great.
This is a fate point.
What are you all talking about? Tell me what's going on in that
Hmm.
room as you hear the news reports.
I think part of it is probably the initial calming down of like, okay, I have some good news and bad news, that kind of thing, and basically
Go ahead.
discussing. I don't know if you want me to. Okay. Okay. Hey, so good news and bad news. We have a way in. And we've had a little talk, and we're at least understanding at this point that things need to change. So, unfortunately, yeah, and actually, I'm wondering if we need to do this, like, if I need to like see if I can get Aura to go into another room while I talk about this, just so that
You certainly can.
yeah,
Maybe
she's
you
there
come
by
out
your
first,
side.
like,
right?
yeah.
Well, she would come out with you,
Okay.
right? Because she figures
Yeah.
she is, but you could,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and so it'll just be like it's okay. It's going to be okay. We've had a talk, and I think we've got a bit of an understanding now about how things need to change. Can you actually give us a minute? I'm going to need to kind of have a little bit of heart to heart with them, if that's okay.
She takes this to mean you're going to convince Renee not to murder her, and she will gladly leave the room for that. And she'll just sort of nod and sort of move back to basically the sleeping area.
Yeah. And that has the
Renee's
added benefit of being
eyes
true.
Follow her every step like a hawk.
Unblinking.
Yeah. She feels very uncomfortable with this.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's you're very right. It looks like there are a lot of timelines, I guess, going on right now, probably at the same time. I don't understand it. I'm just, as far as I knew, I'd just be coming along to be the guy who gets things for people and helps facilitate stuff. But so turns out that more has changed than we thought. The people that so Aura had a copy of the play. It turns out.
What?
Yeah. And she has some people in, and now I've talked to her about it. I've explained to her that if that play goes on, then it's going to cause a disaster. And I think she understands. She knows that she was set on this path by someone who was absolutely not to be trusted. She's not the one who's actually causing the problems.
Then who is?
That's a little more complicated. So the thing is, all right, I don't know how all this works, but for the great, since there are at least, I think, 3 of me running around right now, I think, if I'm counting right, then yeah. There's another version of me running around, an earlier version, who apparently stole the play out of the museum and has put it back. And I don't know what his deal is, because she's talking about that guy, Gideon, having tattoos, and that key into this whole Carcosa thing. And apparently he was the one that convinced her to get a production of the play going. And then he took the book back after he got a copy, and he put it back in the museum to lay a trap, I think probably for us. Which I can't believe I'm saying but this is probably. So we're going to have to stop him. It's a different guy at this point. It's a different, okay, look, anyway. Not the point. I've convinced her that he was manipulating her, and we need to stop what they were going to do. Right now she has people already in there. She knows the way in and out. And they were going to try to perform the play down there.
How do we know you're not manipulating us right now?
I don't think, Renee, I'd have.
How do I know?
You think
you stopping me from doing my job isn't what causes this whole mess in this timeline. I've met about 5 versions of you.
Great.
Canada you was my favorite. Filthy jokes, but could drink like a mule.
I never made the Canada tour. That would have been awesome. Anyway.
Tattoo version. Who was Tattoo version? Was that Australia? It's been so long.
Renee, come back.
But yeah, the thing is, look, we all sacrificed a lot to get here, though, and I think that's probably speaking volumes. I can't imagine what you've been through, but we have also been through the ritual. And if I were trying to pull one over on you at this point, that would be a damn sight farther than I would go.
Elaine, believe me, I know John is asleep. As this conversation is going on, you just notice. Elaine, you notice that John is asleep. The conversation's going on, and John hasn't weighed in, and you just notice that John is asleep.
Does he?
The only one I've never met, and none of the journeys, none of the timelines. Is that guy? Why? Why'd you bring him along?
Well, he's Elaine, friend of Elaine's. I recommended him. He's a dreamer. He has dreams, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the ability to dream and see things. Sometimes know things beforehand, or insight to things we've never known about. I brought him because I was hoping that having his expertise sooner would buy us time.
And those things he dreams are true, always.
It's tricky, right? Like, they're not all true. I mean, they are dreams, they are possibilities, even. And not all of them make sense, and not all of them are true, but sometimes they are. And it's hard. I could never put my finger down on it. And by the time I had more insight of what was going on, it was too late for us and for him. I brought him along because I wanted to get a chance for us, and also it's personal.
How?
We lost him because of me. I told him to keep going, to dream harder, to follow the whispers, the voices. And I was wrong. I was so wrong. I've been wrong about so many things. And at this point, like, what else can we do? We've already trusted our fate to the old gods by coming back. Of course, everything's going to be shit. Of course, there's going to be 3 of you running around, 2 of me. So,
If it's of any consolation, the reality I know seems very similar to the dreams you describe. Reality is a very strange concept when you've been through 26 of them within a year. A year is a strange concept when you see it again and again and again. If he dreams of
sorry.
Carcosa, I've never seen it. Never been there. So close, so many times, very close. Then there must be something to him, right? Maybe they want him there. Maybe they don't want him there. Maybe it depends. Maybe they want him there in one timeline, they don't want him there in another.
when you say that, Elaine just snaps and just goes and wakes John up. Shakes him because he realizes, like,
Huh, that's so
it's a
interesting.
connection.
Yeah, John wakes up, no problem. John, you're awake, it's no problem.
John, wake up.
It's fine.
Did you see anything? What happened?
Trooper, I was wondering if I could invoke an aspect.
Which aspect would you like to invoke? By the way, I'm going to be cashing in the lovely bane that was given to me by all of those retweets right about now in an exciting way. What would you like to invoke?
Merges dreams with reality.
Oh.
Sure. In what way would you like to invoke that?
When I open my eyes, could I be in the hallway I started out in, leading towards the gate?
Yes. This is going to be using your stunt. Please use a fate point. And we will now give one more bit of corruption to the timeline as you pull on the forces of the eldritch beings. And as John wakes,
I think starting
let
out
us give a piece of corruption to John, please.
Starting out in the cabin, Elaine, you see John open his eyes and he's just like, "Wait up, Elaine," and he slowly fades out.
except that all of you are now in the cavern. You are all in the cavern on your way to Carcosa. Except because there was a lovely bane that just happened. And this is part of your partial success, your success with a consequence, your partial. When you look at John is not completely corporeal. John is here with you in front of the gate to Carcosa. You are in a cave. You're in the mouth of this cave in front of this iron gate with this yellow sign on it. Inside, clearly, what is this archaeological site? You don't know how you got to be there, but you find yourself pulled into this space. You are all physically there. But John, who is with you, you can see through him a little. I need everyone to make a will defense as you find yourself transported to another place, and you're looking at your friend who is not completely corporeal, and it would be an interesting question as to where John's physical body is, and maybe where are you actually. I'd like you all to just make a nice will for me as you are dealing with that.
I'm guessing that's
Elaine Chen has no problem. Oh, you, John, you don't have to make a will roll at all. You're fine. You brought them here. You're doing fine. Elaine, you do great. That was like a two will test. You're fine. Jack, you're failing by 2. How are you feeling about that? Would you like to use some,
I think that perhaps I should. Yeah, you know what? Here's the tack I'm going to take. I don't know how
Please
this is going to play out in the fiction, but we'll see. So I'm going to tag my my trouble aspect. I'm going to spend a fate point to tag my trouble aspect. My past self is a nuisance. Because it's like, it's that bastard's fault that we're in this situation. We need to get in there as fast as we need to do to undo it. And hey, we're there already.
Okay.
This is a good thing.
That makes sense to me. Renee. That's currently you're failing by 5. Currently. And if I remember correctly, you have no more it's a new scene, so your will stress will clear as our ghosts of the present will disappear. But that's 5.
You did give me fate points back.
Yes,
however, I also have the glitch shift.
You do?
And as we shifted in both, space, possibly time, who knows, I get to once per scene redo a roll and get +2 on the next.
Yes.
So
I
you
would like to invoke that corrupted stunt, which will
please corrupt me.
Yeah, so please let us have a bit of corruption for our Renee and give one more. Would you mind giving us the timeline view for our audience, so they might just see what's going to happen right about now, because they might be interested in what happens when people use eldritch powers, when they pull upon the powers of eldritch beings. Each time that happens, the powers of the great old ones get stronger. And that is 4 invocations for you all, which causes a ripple in the timeline and not a good one. Oops. John, and we can leave this moment. I just wanted the audience to see it. John, you're there, but you see something in the back of your head. It's a dream, probably. It's not real, or maybe it is real. You are standing side by side with the king in yellow. And the king, you can't actually see what the king looks like. You just know that you're beside the king, and you see yourself. You cannot control your body. You see you in your hands this mask. It's this mask, and you're at a museum maybe, and you just hand the mask to the king with a smile as the king puts this mask on their face, and you're back. Renee, you see it happen. You know that there was a timeline where you would be pulled from a room into the cavern. It was Australia then, but it would be here now. And as you're being pulled, you can rewind time as you glitch in and out, and make that reroll.
Let's hope it's not gonna be still bad.
It's a 0, so you're missing it by 2, which you can easily soak, or you can spend a fate point to tie and be fine.
I will spend that fate point.
What aspect are you invoking?
I am...
What allows you to withstand the shocks and horrors of this moment? What about you as a soldier, as a person? What of your elements lets you get through this?
I think this is not the first time this has happened to her. The shift she's used to, the fact that she is out of touch with time, is a familiar concept. And as such, she just giggles and chuckles as they manifest. For everyone else, it looks like, this just happened. For her, it's happening twice. And this time she's prepared, and this time she's giggles every time. Every time.
And there you all are in front of the gate to Carcosa. The tunnel that you're supposed to explode and destroy and close is behind you, and in front of you is the city that dreams. What do you do? John is there, just not completely physical.
Did you do that on purpose? John? Did you dream us here?
You can do that. Which one's the dream, though?
I try and move my hand through him.
You can. That feels weird. John, you feel it.
Which one or who is the dream? And who is reality?
I honestly can't tell anymore. They all
Aura's not with you.
So...
Wait. She just brought us. Guess it saved a bit of time, maybe.
Who's all here, John? Who else is here? Who else? How many of us are here?
Elaine, shouldn't we be heading towards the gate?
No. Who else is here, John?
I mean, but That's where everyone else is. They're through the gate.
No. We've been through this. That is not a good sign.
No, you
That is
told
not a
me to
good
go
sign.
through the gate, Elaine.
No. Oh, no. I would like to invoke my relationship in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try and get and pull John back, right? And so I would like to invoke the relationship. Can I invoke 2 and then attempt to connect back to him to bring him back? I would like to invoke
Roll.
the relationship I have.
Roll rapport first.
Roll rapport first. Okay, cool.
Or
I would
actually,
like to try.
oh, I feel like this actually isn't rapport. I feel like this is a
Yeah.
little bit more supernatural. I feel like this is going to
Lore.
be lore to sort of
Okay.
try to, because this is no longer, this is not exactly just something friendly. This is now something a
Yeah.
bit more supernatural.
And this
So
is
you
not
would
something
do
where I would
lore.
use my stunt, because like the stunt would be for casting a spell. This is more of a conversation versus anything like that.
It's a little bit spell-like. It might be a conversation,
Okay.
but there's a little
I'm
bit
trying to reach
supernatural
in a
here.
way, right?
Yeah.
Because ritual
Yes.
in a way is like I am making a connection.
Yes.
So okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna
Yes.
dump all the things.
Yes. And so I feel like you are having a conversation. Is that right? Go ahead. But I want you to roll. You have a stunt that allows you to roll academics instead of lore. So I would like you to roll lore.
Oh, and I could dump both my 2 fates as well. So let's go with the roll academics, right? Let's see what happens.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would like
and
you, my dearest John, to roll will. Because you don't really want to leave. Okay. You need to beat a 7.
Excellent. Okay.
Have this conversation. Have it.
Would you want me to invoke my aspects after the fact?
Sure. And by the way, you have a free boost that has to do with Carcosa, which will give you a free +2.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because
awesome.
you built that up last time.
Okay. John,
He's fading a little bit.
that was not me. The king is using me and using all of us to get what he wants, which is coming. So all the signs are here, John. You have to resist. I can tell you what happens when you open that door and what happened when you what happened last time. The last time. You stared, you did it, you faced your fear, but it also consumed you. It ate everything. You, the people you cared about, the world. It was all gone. It was not your fault. But it's back and it's here to do it again. And I'm so sorry that I brought you into this. I brought you into this sooner than you were ready to do this again. I brought you in too soon, but it had to be done. And now I've probably put you in so much danger. But you have to believe. You don't just give in to that comfort, to the lie. Even if the truth is messy and it's hard and it's something that you don't want to look at and doesn't look inviting and is not warm and cozy, you have to believe and live with it and know that it will change. But it won't be easy. And if it's easy, you have to try and look away. You have to.
Is that why you said I died in your time
Yeah.
because I listened to you?
No. No, it was the king. You you said that you could hear him.
So,
I'd
were
pushed
you
you. I
lying?
had pushed you. It's true. But in the end, it's the king that told you to do the things.
I don't understand. Was it the king or was it you that caused me to die, as you say?
You're spending that invoke, which brings you up to a 6, that boost of yours.
Mhm.
Do you spend a fate point to bring you up to an 8?
I do, and I will invoke my trouble of a haunted by failure.
Mm-hmm.
I will spend my point.
That brings you up to an
Yep.
8 versus John 7. You can pull him back. You can save him because he's currently fading. But you have to reach into him to pull him back. You have to wake him up.
Um, she reaches out. Elaine reaches out and just gently puts both hands on the other sides of his shoulders. It's like, and it doesn't have to be the same every time. We have a chance to do it different, and it might not be right, but it can at least be different. You know how to dream. You've seen it. This could be different. And she'll just kind of step back from the gate and just walk with him, step by step by step.
And John, you see yourself sitting at the table at the banquet, and you feel very corporeal at that moment, and you have a spoon of food that you haven't eaten yet that maybe you will. It's just a flash of this moment when you're there, and then you feel yourself pulled, and you are in your body in this cave, this tunnel, and you are walking arm in arm with Professor Chen, and you're back. And Elaine, as you put your arm into his to sort of walk with him, you start losing something of yourself. You start feeling this intense pressure. Something is happening to you physically as you are reaching out to him, and you pull him into his body. And Renee and Jack, you start seeing a yellow fog halo, a light sort of outline on Elaine as she, and this light sort of pours into, and it's a sickly light. It's not like a warm fuzzy light. It's as it pours into John and pulls John, fills him up and makes him corporeal. I would like you, Elaine, to make a difficulty 8 backlash roll as you connect to eldritch energies to save
Horrible,
John.
horrible thing. Cool. This is a will.
It is. It is.
Cool.
You need to beat a will 8.
Awesome. Okay.
You're down by 6. You have 1 fate point.
Can I invoke the Carcosa that I had before, or is that expended on this instance?
You
Expended on this one.
expended
That's
it.
right. Boost. Got it. Cool.
You all can see this yellow energy beginning to pull at Elaine's edges and begin to disintegrate them, perhaps?
How does helping work? Remind me again.
Yes. How would you like to help?
I'm not sure yet because I'm. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And John, you have 1 free invoke right now that from your insight into Carcosa. Do you think you could help her as she pulls you back but starts losing herself?
Yes.
How?
Let me see.
You have free invoke, which is about your insight into Carcosa. If you can bring your insight to bear to help steal her will.
I'd be like, okay, Elaine, let's head back. You're not supposed to be at this party anyways.
Do you believe that, Elaine, that you shouldn't be at the party? John's trying to comfort you, perhaps? Do you believe it? And Lydia, could you give Elaine 1 more corruption?
My high concept is a discredited archaeologist, so I already know what it's like when those who don't want to side with me, but I know what's true, right? I know that I don't have to be at the table in order to be validated and to know what is true. So I do believe what John is saying.
John gives you a +2 with his aspect that he has. And you spend your own fate point, is that correct? Your last one? To bring you from a 4 to a 6? Using, tell me how. What a different aspect, what allows you to sort of push through this moment?
I think that feeling of getting, like, because from what I'm feeling, like I'm being sucked into his place almost as I'm trying to pull him back. And so I'm being tempted by those same things that John's being tempted by. And so I think that
with
I'm
you,
invoking
it's a banquet, but there are people who seem interested in your work and what you have to say, and they believe you, and they find your work respectable and fascinating.
Would I be able to invoke the relationship that I have with John?
Yes.
In this instinct as well? Because I haven't used it in... Yeah, all right, cool. This is a different instance of using it. I would use it because... all the amount, like any amount of praise or credit that I could ever get would never undo the thing that I remember so strongly.
Yeah.
That I put him at risk. that I made it either my fault and it cost his life, right?
That is true. You're 2 down. Jack, you wanted to help her as she's being, her edges, right? It's almost as she's 2-dimensional, her edges start to sort of fray.
Well, I have a relationship aspect, which I think it's I have a link to Elaine, where I conjure to keep others from my personal cliff edge, and so I think just basically what I'm going to do is seeing what what's going on with Elaine right now, and seeing that her state of mind seems to have some effect on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just sort of try to stand in front of her to try to sort of get her attention. I'm going to pull out a scarf quite suddenly from a sleeve, just sort of like, hey, Elaine, listen to me. Listen, I know what it is like to try to sort of fall into a false reality. Okay, I've been there. I know what it's like to want to just wander into it. How much easier it seems like it's going to be to just leave yourself behind and just take a plunge off the cliff to cross the line. But I know you're better than that. You are the reason why we are here. We have a job to do, and we need you to do it. You can do this.
Spend your fate point. And that brings you to 8. And the table dissolves. And you find yourself back with all 4 of you in this tunnel, halfway between the entrance to Carcosa and the exit out to the world. What do you do? But Elaine, you tasted power. You had immense power at that moment. If you could only find ways to overcome the cost of that power, you could perhaps, who knows what you could do? Who knows what you could do? Just noting it. It's just, if you just had some receptacle for all that backlash.
Just corruption. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm just like, Elaine, are you okay? Are you two okay?
Yeah, Elaine like falls down.
Here?
It's like, oh,
Here? Oh crap.
thanks. Oh, thanks.
Listen,
John just looks confused and out of it.
What?
Almost like they're just kind of blank mentally right now.
so turn to John and say, "Hey, heck of a trick. That's you know, I know people who'd pay hand over fist for something like that. Listen, so we're here, right? This is the entrance. They're maybe past there, I say, gesturing toward the city. I don't know how much of it we can see, or if it's just like a tunnel and a door and that's it.
Just a tunnel and a door, but there's another tunnel as well.
Yeah,
There are 2.
I know that. So I know there are people around here somewhere who are going to try to put on a play. We got to stop them. We got to get something to make the cave-in happen. I know there's military not too far from here. We might be able to dig something up if we're careful. What do you think?
Bring it
They
all
just sort of
down.
look over. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Elaine's just like, her hands are aching. She's just like, we have to. We have to. We have to.
They got roped into this. Do we want? If they're here, I don't. What you just want to collapse them, leave them all in here?
Renee, you've done this many times over and over. What?
Are you asking how many
What's-
people I've killed in the process? Because I've stopped counting.
Well, so that doesn't start the cave-ins, but what were what are things that could help us get these tunnels taken care of and closed off? Times that you've done it over and over and over again, what worked, what didn't? What stopped you?
The thing that stopped me? Usually it was you guys. People like yourselves. People had the best intentions. Until the very end. Well, almost until the end.
And also them. The people from Carcosa. They would sometimes stop you. And sometimes the city would stop you. The city itself.
There is something to this place. And all its brethren, no matter which country it appeared in. It has a way of getting to you. The people that are in there, the actors, are already lost. They wouldn't be here otherwise. They'll stop us if we keep talking. We need to start acting. Now.
It's a
The military
sound
base?
from beyond the gate.
Okay.
So there was a military base right outside.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get
Okay.
started. Not think too hard about it, because that's, I think, what's going to get to us.
Okay.
You hear shuffling down the tunnel.
Military is what we need. And Renee will try and not run off, but push people towards the other side of that tunnel, which they pointed out as military base. Not sure if they
Out the
really
front
know where
gate?
it is, but yeah.
I just want to make sure. I'm just going to ask, because I know that some people are quite interested in the city of Carcosa. I know that is true in things like this. I know that, Elaine, I know that you're obsessed with these things. And I would like to offer you a fate point. I would like to compel your obsession, and you have no more fate points. The only way that you can stop this compel, which would be to maybe you want to go and find out what that thing is if someone who does have fate points, which would be Lydia or John, might want to give up one of theirs to convince you maybe it's not a good idea to just, could you really, though? Can you just leave this place without seeing what it looks like? Seeing it? Just a little? Would you like a fate point to go into that place where this shuffling moaning is?
No, I would not. But since
Would
I do not
someone
have
like
the
to
fate points,
save you?
I would like to
I
offer to Renee. You'd want to punch Elaine super hard if she started walking.
Oh,
that
wonderful.
way.
If you start walking or if you hesitate, the first step, because there is still there is a difference between Aura and Elaine. Obviously, Elaine was a superior to her. That doesn't go away quite, even with everything she's been through. So that moment of hesitation, Renee will walk up to you. I'm imagining she's a little bit taller than you, a little bit burlier, and grab you by the shoulders to shake you out of it. The mission. The task. What is our mission, Elaine?
save the future. But what if I can... But what if this could help? And like she like looks at her hand, she opens them. The eyes are like half lidded. What? We need help, right? To save the future.
Have they helped you?
It's so hard to keep going.
What have you seen with those things?
It's what I hope for, but then when I come back, it's never good. It's always
That
much
tells
worse.
you everything you need to know right now.
Yeah. Just closes up. You hear her hands squelch. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
And when you move out of this tunnel towards the night, right, towards air, fresh air, you can start, as you get closer and closer, you can start hearing the sounds of people. There's singing, there's chanting, there's protests and shouts. You can hear all sorts of sort of sounds outside. The closer you get, and helicopters every once in a while. It's just this. Thank you for the sub. Thank you very much. And as you sort of get closer and closer to the entrance, you're getting closer and closer towards some sort of life. And you only barely hear in the back something rattling the gate to Carcosa. As you make it out to the front, to the mouth of this cave entrance, which I will tell you is much bigger than it was in your history books. The photographs of the entrance was actually quite small. You know, it was like really, you know, you'd have to sort of dip a little bit to get into it. And it was maybe, you know, it was, but now it is actually big enough to drive a Humvee through. It's a much bigger entrance. And as you sort of creep up to the front, there you see lights, sort of like a base camp, tents, people, cameras. There's like news people. They're talking. There's like I don't know, maybe 100 people out in front of this cave mouth, and there are barriers set up so that people can't come in, and guards so that getting in will not happen. But you're already in. What would you like to do?
Around for things that might help blow things up, I would guess.
Grab explosives,
There are
act like you own the
many
place.
things.
Yeah. Right. Mhm.
Renee has a stunt. Renee is a stunt, which is scavenger. You've always learned how to get food, drink, shelter in strange situations. If you would spend a fate point, which I think would leave you with just one left, if that's correct, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You would be able to use that fate point to declare, based on your stunt, to declare a story detail, being that you could get access to some demolitions. And I believe that will be happening because of some bits that have just come in.
Yeah, Kitchen, thank you very, very much for that special boon. I will definitely spend that fate point to get the maximum positive outcome of this donation. Thanks. Maybe this
Kitchen
time I get to
Bratlin?
actually see something positive happening.
That will be an aspect that is created by Kitchen Bratlin, and it is a crate of explosives. But your fate point gives it one free invoke, And because Kitchen Bratland did such a big donation, that'll be 2 free invokes on your crate of explosives. And you were looking, and there it's a bit of madness about there. There's a lot of confusion. There's quite a lot of strife, but you see it out there in a tent. This crate of explosives. You can get there.
Okay.
Renee starts heading straight line. She knows how to act in military compounds. You basically act like you belong here, and people will rarely try and question authority.
And it is the fate point, the donation, and Renee's military bearing that just also the uniform, the sort of uniform, it's kind of a bit of a weird uniform that she's wearing. And you just watch her just walk right past these guards towards this large tent and lift by herself this massive crate and just walk back with it. And the guards don't even question her because they saw her walk out. So clearly she was authorized to be there. And then she walks right back in.
Okay. Awesome. All right. I'm going to help start setting them up, I guess.
What would you, this is going to be a bunch of create advantages. You want an 8 total in the end. How will you help set up these? How are you going to help set up these explosives?
I, for one, have blown up things before, probably. Not only as like a function of stage magic, but also a function of like, we cannot get into this safe.
Yes,
I probably have at least a little bit of experience with it. Unfortunately, I cannot do anything with my aspects on it right now, as I am currently without. But
it would be
I
crafts.
can at least try to. Yeah, I've got crafts, easy.
But here's my question. Would you like to make the roll and have people help you, or would you like to help? The question is, who's the best at their crafts?
So I have crafts of 3. Anyone?
I'll help.
Okay, I guess I'm doing it.
With the mechanical expertise of how to set them properly.
Yeah. Elaine, would you like to help as well? John?
I think, John, I would like to invoke my avoids troubling situations aspect. I'd be like, I'm still in this weird state that I'm in. I'd be like, I'll bring you to them. I belong there. They know me.
Let's just put this where we need it. But yeah, I think we can, we can sort of get it in the right spot there. Yeah. Okay.
Elaine, would you like to aid?
I don't have fate points, but I do have the free stunt that I've been thinking about, which is something about using how, like, when it comes to like historical events that I've been a part of or I've seen, I would be able to get an advantage having been there before. And so this one I want to think about, how would I be able to help? Would I be able to help add a 2 or help roll and add? Like, what would I be able to do without a fate point?
I would say maybe roll academics to try to create an advantage, to try to figure out sort of structurally the best places to place these charges.
And could I just make this stunt on the fly since I had an open one available already?
Yeah. So I would say roll your academics.
Okay.
But you get a +2 because of your stunt, your new stunt that you have, which gives it a 3, which is enough to give him 1 bonus to 1 free invoke to that roll. Renee, would you like to roll, let's say, fight to figure out, I would say shoot actually is probably better, to figure out the best place to also help with this sort of placement of these charges. Not great.
Nope.
Okay. This all comes down to you. Jack, if you would like to.
All right.
All right.
Just going to.
It is you.
Didn't we ask it to do anything?
Would you? I imagine, John, you're coming in at the
yeah.
at the bonus, yeah, because you've got some fate points you can give afterwards. You need an 8 to fully
this will
collapse
be
this
fun.
tunnel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
I almost. I don't know whether to try to negotiate this before or after I roll.
After.
Okay. There's a thing I realized that I might try to do as a self-compel here, but I don't know.
If you want to self-compel, I'm always ready for a self-compel. But,
yeah,
it's up to you.
But the trouble is, I don't know if it would qualify because, well, here's the thought. It's a very internal struggle type thing that's going on. There are people in here that
There are people in there.
that I am loath to just outright kill. But at the same time, the situation is a difficult one. And so I'm thinking in terms of remember that personal cliff edge we talked about a moment ago?
Yeah.
That whole idea of staring into the abyss, where it's like, there was this line that I would not cross that involved, as part of it, involved endangering people more than I would have. It's like, we steal things, we don't kill people, that kind of deal.
That's right.
And so
You
the
would
thought
doom
that it's like,
who knows how many people in the space.
And so it would be one of those things, and almost there's like even a sort of a thing where I just sort of look down at my shadow, and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna have to do this once. Fine. This is a sacrifice we're gonna have to make then. Would something like that qualify?
Not yet.
Okay.
Make your roll, but I'm going to just take that in my back pocket for you as you chat with your shadow.
Yeah. No. I wanted to bring the shadow in so that there'd be an opening for other stuff.
Oh yes. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm going to take that as a present. I'm going to eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, I'm just sort of looking. It's like looking across at the abyss, and it's like this was the thing that was always looking back at me in a way. All right, I'm going to roll crafts now, and I guess we'll see what happens. Here we go. And am I adding anything to this yet, or is this a flat roll right now? Roll
flat
first.
Roll.
Done.
You have a bunch of that's a 2. You have 2 free invokes from the dynamite given to you by Renee.
Okay.
Which brings you to a 6.
Okay.
And you have 1 free invoke from Elaine because she told you the best places to place this dynamite. Which will do it. Unless you did say you were interested in a self-compel.
Why did I do this to myself?
Would you like a self-compel? If you want, I will take it. Here's what it is.
Go ahead, tell me.
You will succeed at blowing up the entrance and collapsing it. No problem. That's fine. But if you take a consequence, just a little consequence, wherein your shadow is for a time somewhat malevolent towards you, I will give you an extra fate point. Just a little consequence.
Ooh.
Where your shadow perhaps has listened a little bit too much to the people in Carcosa, has a little bit of insight, is a little bit more friendly towards the king than your shadow is to you.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that I don't have any fate points right now, so I can't actually resist that, as far as I'm aware.
It's a
Unless I have a
self-compel, so
chance.
it's up to you. It's
Oh,
you.
it's
It's you.
self-compel.
You are volunteering it, so you can withdraw the volunteerism, since
Well,
it is your compel.
from also the aspect, considering that when does the I hate to do this. I hate to do this
Ooh.
as someone into the theatrics of the whole thing. But when do the fate points refresh? Is it at the beginning of the next session? Is that when that happens?
Beginning of the next session.
Yeah. So I mean, logically speaking, there's no reason for me to do it. So of course I'm going to.
Tell me how this explosion happens. I want to hear. Well, there is one option though. Wild still has fate points. Wild can save you from this fate. John, do you want to go and help out Jack with this shadow problem that's happening and about it's going to happen right now?
Yes.
The charges are set. You can hear in the distance and the rattling of this cage as it sort of echoes. And Elaine is sort of saying where the places are. Everybody's sort of working together in this moment. And you set the charge.
Okay. So
It is going to happen. And John, you see it. His shadow, flickering in the light, starts to move and stretch towards the gate. It starts creeping towards the gate. And then it stands up and starts walking towards the gate where the call is coming from. And you watch as it begins to pass by you. What do you do?
I will try to invoke my avoids troubling situations aspect. And I'll look at it.
So how you stop that from happening? Tell me what you do.
This shadow. I'm like, you're not supposed to be there. You belong with him, pointing back to Jack. You can't be
The shadow
walking out
looks at you.
like this.
It gets close, and it seems to have eyes. And you just hear Jack, or Jack's shadow, say, "Are you giving me orders, Quiet One?"
If you're asking, then yes.
And so it is done. And the shadow falls back onto the floor and stretches back until it connects to Jack, who presses the button. You might want to leave. And I assume you all leave, perhaps?
Yes.
Renee, who is the one person that you love the most?
None of them know,
Hmm?
but Renee has a daughter.
What is your daughter's name?
Alina.
As you're all leaving, you think you hear her on the other side of the gate. You're not certain, though. It's unclear. Sounds like her. But it shouldn't be her.
She has not heard that voice in... Well, it's hard to really quantify time in her situation. But in the end, it's the only thing that kept her from ending it. It's the only thing that kept her going, trying to go back to her time. Trying to see her again. To see her grow up. To hear that voice for the first time in so long. It's an impulse that goes against every strand of reason in her brain.
And the voice just says, Mummy! Mummy!
Alina? And she stops mid-run.
The explosion happens. And there is the entire sort of you know when things collapse and there's that dust that gets the grit that gets into your mouth, right? And it's actually that sort of mix of gunpowder and dirt and grit in your mouth as you sort of make your way out. All of you make it out. All of you, not all of you. Renee's missing. But there's soldiers everywhere, and they're on alert, and they're running, they're coming. You might need to leave. Do you go? You go. Renee, you heard your daughter's voice, and you find yourself in the snow in Canada. You need it's cold. What do you need? There's a machine. It needs to be fixed. You need to fix this machine, but it's so freezing your fingers. There are other people with you, and none of you are dressed properly. I think you've just come back, or the fourth time. You need, I don't know, fur coats. Maybe you need wrenches to fix the machine. Wrenches to fix the machine. And the rest of you need to escape Peru as the ripples through the timeline say that something has changed. And that, my friends, is the end of this episode. Hey everyone! I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa. Our heroes were able to collapse the tunnel leading to Carcosa, hopefully saving them a little bit from the things that might come. And Renee was pulled back, glitched out to another timeline. But maybe this time it's a little different. A little safer, perhaps? We will see. And with that, after we finish getting offline with you all, I'm going to talk with the cast about the ripples in time that they have caused and rewriting this moment to make it a little bit better. And so, that said, I would like our wonderful cast to introduce themselves and tell us who they are and where we can find them next, if you wouldn't mind, and give some love to one of our cast members. I would love that, and I would love to start first with our amazing guest, who I want to give my love to for being wonderfully creepy and give me somebody delicious to have you disappear with.
Thank you very much. I am very, very happy that I got to play here after being there and kind of trying to claw my way through from backstage, because I really, really enjoyed the premiere, and I'm so happy that already, even though it is unfortunately at the cost of Jackie Dash, but I'm gonna be selfish, that I got to play with you guys. And hey, if one of you wants to be ill or have an emergency happening or something, or just skip it for once, I'll be here, just saying.
Renee is just rubber banding back and forth through time and multiple timelines, and she knows how to get some demolitions.
And Lydia is rubber banding through various TTRPG systems. Ooh, that transition.
Oh,
anyway,
so good, so good.
So I'm usually here on Mondays with Great American Witch on Weave the Tale. I'm GMing a system that is a mix of PBTA, a little bit of Fate actually. The aspects and the Fate points are aspects and charms in this system. Christopher Gray has kind of created a nice little potpourri, a little bit of 10 candles. So yeah, it's a bit of everything, and I have a lovely horny coven who is trying to get werewolf boyfriends and girlfriends and everything. It's a beautiful mess, and I love them dearly. I'm also behind the scenes on a couple of other games that we have on the channel, and we will end on the channel trailer. So if there's anything that strikes your fancy, we just started with this season. Hop on in. You're welcome anytime. You can catch up on YouTube as well. You can hop into our socials too. We have a couple of places where you can find us. The link is in chat. Of course, as far as my own projects are concerned, Half-Hour's Hermit on Twitter. That's where I usually announce my stuff. Thank you.
And give some love to someone.
I'm going to give love to... Mostly, I really, really enjoyed Elaine just desperately fighting for every single inch of territory when it comes to conflict situations, and being so conflicted all the time herself. That was very, very nice and present in your face. Suffering, contorting, in agony. Beautiful, beautiful TTRPG agony. I always enjoy that when a player is like, I know what I should do, but it's gonna be so hard. Or I know what I shouldn't do, but also, I really want to. And to be fair, that's something all of you are doing, as Jim has proven at the very end in particular. But yeah, I think that's something that I could see pop through every now and then, and I'm really enjoying these moments.
Yeah. Since you set it up to head right on over to Sour Fruit Junkie, who are you? Where can we find you? And give some love to someone.
Hi, I'm Steph, Sour Fruit Junkie. You can find me on the internet and Twitter. A lot of links there for like stuff I like to draw, and lots of photos of my pet snake on Instagram. So that's what I do. I work over at Wizards Digital Artists on the daytimes. And yeah, that's me. Love monsters and stuff. So passing some love on. John, thanks for getting us to the Wild, thanks for getting us to the gate. I was like planning and thinking of like, how can we sneak in? Who do we talk to? It's like, no, just gonna dream my way there. I'm like, okay.
Just a little corruption. Just a little corruption.
It's fine. It's fine. So deeply appreciate like that, just like, yeah, just go for it. I'm like, okay, and then trusting us also to be able to take that and collaborate to make something incredible happen. So thank you.
And I will take that pass off to go up to Wild Engineer. Who are you? Where can we find you? And give some love to someone.
Yes, hello. I'm Wild at Wild Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me aside from here on Wednesdays on Open for Adventure, where we are playing some Uncaged. Tonight, actually, I'm on the Lady Dames channel for
Ooh.
some adult fun. We'll be reading some smut, some Chuck Tingle tonight.
Oh.
And I am also on a podcast powered by the players, where not too long ago they released episode 2 of our Crossroad Carnivals game, a lovely Depression era circus game. It's not at all depressing or horrifying.
Cool. Sounds like it's just like all like cotton candy, roses.
Oh,
No.
definitely. I mean, depression and carnivals. And I would love to pass some love over to. I have to pass it over to Lydia Renee, first hermit. Just you coming in and shaking everything up and immediately starting a fight was so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's added so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad my violence is rewarded.
Yes, your violence was rewarded with, well, opening up a space where Aura could be shaken up a little bit, which helped bring her to a less culty space, which was good, right? We made her more receptive to listening to Jack because that was a lot for her and it helped. Speaking of Jack, hey, other Doc, who are you? Where can we find you? And give some love to someone.
Hello. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, this was so good. Who am I? I'm Jim. I'm Jim Ryan. I am Other Doc on both Twitch and Twitter. That's OTHERDOC. And my website is jimyesthatjim.com, where I've got archives of various things that I've done, various projects, audio and otherwise. And that's usually where I post game signups whenever I'm having those. And I am streaming on my Twitch channel, usually on now when we're all available on Sunday afternoons. We are playing Dark Matter, run by Alyssa Origami Shuriken. Trooper's been in that.
I have
guested on that a time or two. Fantasy in space. And then on Tuesday evenings, right now, I am running a short campaign of Urban Shadows, urban fantasy powered by the apocalypse, set in, and our game is set in present-day Rome, Italy. So very interesting to see what happens when we add that particular blend of mythology to the mix of the standard vampire werewolf type situation. So we're progressing some on that. And those are the main things that I'm currently doing. As for the distribution of love, I have it for everyone here. This was glorious, brilliant. The level of role play and story artistry was delightful, utterly delightful. I adored what the Elaine's quandaries. I loved that Renee was just aiming directly for sorrow. Lydia indeed was aiming directly for sorrow. Brilliant. I'm gonna need to give the but if I got to give the trophy to somebody, actually, I got to give it to Wild for this session, because damn, the role play of that angst, that the sort of whole the curiosity, the desire, the dread in interacting with the dreams. I have no idea how you conjured all that up, but it was glorious, absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for enriching our story that way, because that was brilliant. And that's all I got. Thank you very much.
And I'm Trooper SJP. I have been your friendly neighborhood GM. Super friendly, mostly friendly, perhaps deadly. But you can find me at Trooper SJP, which is my Twitch channel. On Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern, I GM a Fate French Resistance campaign. And of course, I GM this here, so you can find me here as well on Saturdays. Today's Saturday. And you can find me doing a whole bunch of things all over the place. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Kobold Press, I'll be in a D&D Kobold Press Midgard game called Into the Southlands. That's at 5. And at 8 p.m., I will be in, and that's in like a bunch of makeup. And then at 8 p.m., I will be in a mask and feathers for a Romance of the Blue Rose campaign over at Praxagora the Smophoria. You can check me out on, you can check out my schedule on my Twitch channel to find out where I'm at. And I'm going to give some love to Jim, because Jim, I really appreciate the work you were doing with Aura and sort of like piecing together some of the things that are happening in the timeline that way, which I appreciated very much. And like, a lot of feels going on there. And I appreciate everybody's commitment to some bad choices and to the ways in which you're sort of tying in your fate points to who your characters are, right? Because those things are really a manifestation of what is the most important thing to you. And I have just been having a lovely time gymming you all. And I hope that all of you in chat will dream well and not of anything in Carcosa. But and thank you, by the way, Kitchen Bratlin. You also have the title for tonight, yet again. The title for today's episode will be A Crate of Explosives, and that is thanks to your donation. And I want to thank everyone who has donated and who's been here. I want to thank to all of our sponsors. You should check them out. Thank you all. And we're going to do a raid. We're going to raid Penny for a Tale, which is our sister channel. They are playing an alien RPG, which, much like Fate of Cthulhu, is full of fun and happiness and roses and sunshine and certainly no creepiness. So we're gonna do that as a raid. So give them some love when we raid on over. And thank you very much for being here. And until next time, have you seen the yellow sign?
These are the tales we weave. Tales of magic. Tales of mystery. Tales exploring the beyond. And while we continue to grow, even more adventures await. In the depths of the unknown. Will you join us in the telling?